I will start with Will, who's right here next to me. So I actually saw this online yesterday, that you are the 4-time natural bodybuilding champion. That's awesome. I think that's amazing.
Thank you, thank you. Don't clap, because I see some of y'all sizing me up.
I thought about that this morning while I was like eating chocolate chip cookies for breakfast, and I was like, awesome, I get to sit right next to these amazing bodybuilders. You're the owner of WTF, Will Tucker Fitness, yes. Not what the fuck. Okay. You're author, certified fitness trainer, speaker, contributor to Vegan Health and Fitness magazine. You're a fitness expert and award-winning professional vegan bodybuilder. Will constantly dispels the myth that large amounts of animal protein are required to build an outstanding physique. His philosophy is that all nutrients the body requires are available in well-balanced plant-based diet that is high in carbs with minimal amounts of protein and healthy fats. So you've done amazing things, a certified trainer for 20 years, a prominent figure in the vegan community. So we're really, really, really excited to have you here, and thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you, Will. And next we have Vanessa Espinoza, a 16-year vegan athlete. Well, you've been vegan for 16 years. That's amazing, quite an example. An elite power lifter, so we'll talk about what that is, because I'm not really sure what that is, but I want to learn more. Vanessa's a professional vegan trainer, nutrition coach, and author of the new book, Plant-Based Muscle. You were on the high school basketball All-American team. Is that?
Yeah, just an All-American, one of the top 10 point guards in the country.
Ranked top 10. Woohoo, awesome. And you were drafted to play in the WNBA. Okay. Oh, amazing. And, yeah. And you are the boxing 3-time Colorado Golden Gloves undefeated state champion. Oh, damn. So, don't even try to mess with Vanessa, because I'll be your friend forever. Okay, so when John gets here, we'll figure him out. But, and you guys know John, badass vegan, he's on his way. So I wanted to start off just kind of I'm sure everyone here knows who you are, but just in case and has heard your story. But can you talk a little bit about what motivated you to go vegan? What was the beginning like for you guys in terms of your veganism?
Yeah, I've been vegan 16 years, and I was a vegetarian first, but what motivated me the most was my love of animals. I watched one video of factory farming, animals being slaughtered, how they are kept, and that was it for me. I basically made the switch overnight. Just the horrible suffering. I know for myself I couldn't contribute to that any longer.
Yes, awesome. Will?
Yeah, mine started a little differently. I'm originally a Midwest guy. I'm from East St. Louis, Illinois. And if you know anything about that, we pretty much barbecue any damn thing there. So I was a heavy meat eater. In the early mid-2000s, when the economic downturn came, I used to work in mortgage banking. So my job transferred me out west, and I wound up in Arizona, of all places, Phoenix area. And the first year, there was right around Thanksgiving, there was a team of us that transferred out with the job when they started downsizing. And we had a traditional Thanksgiving at a friend's house. Now, let's back up a few weeks. I saw the job situation about to change, so I went and got certified as a personal trainer because I was always hanging at the gym anyway. So evenings and weekends, when I still had my 9 to 5, I started training. And I had a client who came in, and she said she was vegetarian. So, of course, Midwest guy, I'm like, where are you going to get your
protein?
Are y'all awake yet? Come on now. We've all heard it now. Wake up. So, instead of writing her off like I've heard it's common in the fitness arena, I did a little research and found that you can actually live without consuming animal products. Lo and behold, I've been food all my life. So shortly after that, she was pregnant, by the way, and she was sent to bed rest, and she could no longer train with me. So the 9 to 5 eventually went away, and I started training full time. Now let's go back to Thanksgiving with the crew. we had a traditional Thanksgiving dinner there at a friend's house that transferred out from the St. Louis area, you know, turkey, all the trimmings, and you know you can't go home without a plate, so I leave with this big plate of leftovers, and I get back to my apartment, and I just turn on the TV, and I'm flipping through channels, and I wound up on the National Geographic channel. And there was a documentary on about animals being born and the connection between the mom and the baby. And something really drew me into that documentary, and the light went off, and I said, I'm literally eating somebody's baby. And I wasn't even drunk either. I don't know what drew me into this thing. So after that, I literally threw every piece of meat I had out of my house, and like that, I was vegetarian. I still did some cheese. We know that's the hardest thing to give up. Limited dairy, like in ice cream, and occasionally eggs. And I did that for 5 years. I was a vegetarian. I didn't do any type of flesh, no fish or anything. Then on October 1st, 2011, I just decided as a 30-day challenge, I'm gonna give up the cheese and eggs I was doing just to see, you know, because in the bodybuilding world, it's assumed that you need something. So I didn't want to totally give everything away. And I tried it as a 30-day challenge. 2 weeks in, I decided, you know, the way I felt and everything, the recovery time from workouts, I was like, oh, I'm never going back. So I haven't had any animal products since September, rather, because I started the challenge October 1st, 2011, and haven't looked back since and never will go back.
Awesome, awesome. So I'm glad you guys brought up the issue of animals, because a lot of the times we can get, the vegan movement is huge, right? It's vast. There's a lot of different ways to come into the vegan movement and a lot of different ways to stay in the vegan movement. But ultimately, at its inception, the vegan movement was about animal rights and was about the protection of animal rights and ultimately animal liberation, right? So how, I just wondered, why do you guys think animal rights matter? We come into the movement kind of touched by the animals and feeling like we need to make a shift in what we do because of them. So do you guys have any thoughts in terms of animal rights and feelings, thoughts about that?
Well, I have Animal Liberation 269 tattooed on my arm.
269.
Can you tell us what that is for people who don't know?
Yeah, 269, it was the number of, it was a baby calf, it's the tag on their ear, and it was a baby that was saved from being slaughtered. So that number represents your solidarity towards all the animals that have been slaughtered. So I get asked this question all the time, and I'm very proud of it, because that's my passion in life, is to save animals and help as many people along the way.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Good. So as a, you know, this conference is about people of color. As a person of color, do you have any feeling about what contribution specifically you make being in the vegan movement, doing what you guys do as bodybuilders, but also being people of color in the vegan movement?
Teaching people, especially the Latino community, teaching people about how to eat food. Food is such an emotional thing in most cultures, but I want to show people that they can enjoy the foods of their culture and have that cruelty-free. That is the first thing that people freak out about, is, oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to enjoy my grandma's recipe. I'm not going to be able to enjoy this. And you can. I want to show people that you can enjoy your beans and rice and green chili and red chili and, you know, whatever kind of food you enjoy.
Yeah, same here. I definitely want to have a bigger impact in African American and underserved communities that are systematically oppressed, you know, with the food deserts and the like that happen there. And people there, especially when I go back home, they think I'm some kind of weirdo, you know, with this whole vegan thing. But I really want to show them there's a better way to live. And I try to really deliver the message in a logical fashion, because if you look around the communities, they're, you know, rampant with heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, things like that. And just by making simple changes as to what's on the end of your fork can alleviate and eradicate the need for any type of prescription medications. It's a vicious cycle, and I try to just give people a little knowledge as to how to get out of it.
Yeah, I think it's funny and also very important, because when I first went vegan and actually went to Costa Rica, which is where my family's from, and they were like, well, we don't know what to feed her because she doesn't eat. And I'm like, oh, clearly I eat. I don't have a problem eating.
Plate of air.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden there's no food available on the planet because you said
Exactly.
I don't eat meat. And it's funny because a lot of our communities, a lot of the food we eat is already just plants. It's just that we've been taught to think, oh, if you don't have carne asada every day or every party there's no carne asada, it's not a party, right? So I do think it's important to see other people of color who are like, I'm vegan, I'm actually alive, I haven't died yet, and I'm doing this thing, and it's awesome. So in terms of bodybuilding, I will not ask you where you get your protein. I refuse to ask.
You're my best friend now.
But what challenges have you guys faced being vegan bodybuilders and being in the fitness world in this world? Every time I talk to people about bodybuilding and fitness, even friends, they're like, oh, yeah, whey protein, it's all about whey and all kinds of meat-based products. And so it seems like it's heavy on the meat. And you guys come in and you're representing with all this amazingness before me, and you're like, oh, I eat plants and I rock it. So have you had challenges in terms of entering the world as vegan bodybuilders and vegan fitness?
Probably more than challenges is criticism. Getting a ton of criticism, especially from men. They just don't understand. When people don't understand something, they criticize you. And, I would get criticized, oh, you're never going to be an athlete. You're never going to be able to put on muscle. You're going to be weak, all of that. And I was just determined to prove people wrong. And
you did.
But now, that was when I first started. But now people are coming up to me in the gym, especially men, and want to know, oh my gosh, what do you eat? What are you doing? What are you taking to look the way you do? And so the feedback has been really good. People are really open to it now. And I get famous bodybuilders all the time emailing me and want to go this direction because people are just not feeling good. They feel tired, they feel sick, their workouts aren't as good. And it's so amazing to talk to people, even after a week of them going vegan, and they're like, Vanessa, I feel so much better. My workouts are better, my recovery is better. And now people are realizing that I can look like this.
I can look like that.
and eat vegan, just feeling better.
Yeah. So John, you've done amazing things. So you're an entrepreneur. You started Badass Vegan.
Badass Vegan sounds good.
Badass Vegan.
We start that one up too.
For bads, Badass Vegan. You're making a documentary right now on yourself and hip hop, or and clothing line.
Yeah.
You're doing everything. You're
and I sleep probably an hour a day, somewhere in there.
So it can be done. It can be done. And you still look like that, so it can be done. We were just talking about the experience of being a vegan bodybuilder, a vegan athlete in this whole meat-based world, and what some of the challenges have been, or criticisms, or any issues that you've had in that perspective.
Issues are people. Other than that,
issues can be people. So
yeah, there's really no issue. I mean, like I just started CrossFit probably about 4 months ago, just for another challenge. And for instance, like, I'm a newbie, but I'm very competitive, and so a lot of people, I've been pretty much first in the class in everything we do. And a couple of people in the class were like, well, that's just because you're so young. And I was like, well, no, I'm actually 40. And they were like, wait, what? I was like, yeah, it's that vegan. And they were like, so I've had a lot of interest because of that. And I don't push the agenda on anybody, but I like to live by example, because I think that's the best way to do it. Is like, I don't want to pound it down their throat, but once they ask, it's a different story. But I let them ask me, because once somebody asks you, they're open to it. Yeah. So that's the way I've been taking that route. And even on my page, like, I don't go to anybody else's page and like troll them and like, you're going to hell because you're not vegan. I'll wait till they come to my page, and then when they ask questions or send me a message, then I do that. But as far as like negativity, I think, the route I think all three of us have taken has been more like, we work out around people that aren't vegan. The thing you have to remember is that you can't influence anybody if you only hang around like-minded people. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I think that sometimes as vegans, it's hard because we want to hang around just us because it is fun, it is comfortable, but in order for us to influence them, we have to get out there and actually like show them that like, we're not all depressed, we're not all mad, we're not like all like, sitting there hugging a stuffed animal at night, because that's what they think. That's what they think, you know, like, that's not the case. But we, you know, we're fun-loving people. We like to have fun. We just don't believe in harming anything to have that fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that's really what's awesome, is that it's like a walking example of what veganism is, right? So a lot of times we don't all wear veganism on our sleeves and, you know, oh, I'm vegan, you know, that joke, like, how do you know someone's vegan? They'll tell you in the first 3 seconds. I'm so tired of hearing
Mine's
that.
like 7 seconds,
Yeah.
but yeah. You know.
Just walk out, hi, I'm vegan. But yeah, you guys just, if you want to be vegan, you can look like this, right? So it's a great example.
Quick question. Did anybody ask already? How many people here are not vegan?
Oh, you're not.
Let's give them a round of applause, for real.
No.
Thanks for being here.
Because we know how hard it is to be around us. So that's we appreciate you.
You're in a room full of love. Don't worry.
Yeah. Thank you for dealing
Hey,
with
at least
us.
you know if the world ended, you won't get eaten in here.
Right.
So,
Right.
We have compassion for people too. So this question is for Vanessa, and just kind of jumping off what you guys are already talking about. I don't, you know, if you've had this experience, but for those ladies in here, the women, what has your experience been like as a woman, as a vegan woman in the whole fitness, bodybuilding, everything else that you do world?
More criticism from men, like I said. You know, men, they come up to me and they're like, oh, I don't understand how you look this way. You know, there's no way you can, you know, have that muscle and be vegan. And at first, I got that a ton, but right now, I don't get that as much. If I wear a vegan shirt to the gym, sometimes I get criticized. Just the other day, a cop came up to me at the gym, and he just laughed in my face.
Oh.
And I was like, come on, man. You know, and I was explaining to him, and he was a little bit open to it. But, you know, it just comes with the territory, and the whole thing is just educating people. Leading by example is the biggest thing. I think people, when they think of vegan, they think skinny, weak, you know, hippie. And I want to represent veganism the best as I can. I want people to think as vegans as, oh my gosh, they're strong, they're fit, they're healthy, all of that. So that is my goal, and to represent veganism the best I can.
Yeah, and you guys are. Dom's Thompson, or Dominic, I should say.
That guy.
That dude. He recently posted about this, kind of what you're talking about, being strong, and the idea of being strong and eating plants. And sometimes this idea is also tied to ideas of masculinity, right? If you're a real man, you'll eat meat. If not, you're a little flower or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Flower.
I don't know. I couldn't
That's
think
a
of
good
anything
word
else.
for it. You're such a flower.
I was gonna say leaf, but that didn't really make sense. What about you two? Have you dealt with that? Like, I mean, obviously, if we look at all three of you, there's no weakness factor here. But this kind of gendered notion of you have to eat meat to be a real XYZ.
You know, I've heard it before, but I don't really let it bother me at all, because in the end, those are gonna be the same guys dropping dead from heart attacks, having heart disease, taking those little blue pills with all those side effects, and you know what happens if it stays that way for longer than 4 hours. Seek a doctor's help. So I won't have no circulation problems, and I'll be laying it down for the rest of my life. So, and plus I don't break out with the meat sweats, so I'm good with that. But seriously, my masculinity will never be challenged by my appetite. You
That's a good
understand?
T-shirt. Vegans love wood.
There you go.
There you
Trademark
go,
that
John. Next T-shirt. Check
so-
the website.
Yeah, I'm not bothered by it at all, because it's too many benefits, you know, with being plant-based as opposed to all the other things they're going to eventually encounter and have to go through. So it doesn't bother me at all.
Awesome. So the food, right now, when I became vegan, I think tofurkey was around maybe. And I'll just be honest, I don't like tofurkey. I still don't like tofurkey. Sorry if there's any tofurkey lovers in the room. I'm sorry.
Or employees.
I'm sorry. Or employees, sorry, sponsors. Oh, crap, sorry. Thank
No,
you.
They got some.
I love
they
it.
have moved up though. It's
Okay.
probably last
It's
time they had them.
changed.
They
Well,
moved
I haven't
up.
had it in
Gotten
like
better.
10 years or something. So I'll try it today.
Yeah.
I'll stop talking shit. Okay. So but my point was that there were limited food options when I came into the vegan movement. Now I think there's like 5,000 vegan food events happening just alone today. In LA, we're very spoiled. We have vegan food everywhere. But a lot of the vegan food can tend to be, I mean, like these vegan cheeseburgers and fries and chili cheese fries. So as people who focus on fitness and health, do you have any advice for people who are now coming to the movement? There's a ton of like vegan, not healthy necessarily food. And sometimes you see all these posts about food and you're like, if I ate like that, I'd be 7,000 pounds. But as fitness people, how can they eat healthy in the vegan world now?
I guess I'll chime in on this one. In all honesty, all three of us actually eat those burgers and that other stuff. But it's a ration kind of thing. Like that's not our everyday meal choice. Like, for instance, we all eat pretty much a different way as well. Like, and there's no right way, I would say. You have to kind of experiment with your body. It's just like when people they always hit you up like, what's your meal plan? I'm like, well, whatever I eat is not going to work for you. I'm 6'6", 240. Like, it's not going to be the same thing for me as it is for these two or for anybody else. So you kind of got to experiment and see what it is. When you're first transitioning, I say eat those burgers, eat those things that still got that comfortable taste to you. That way, when you got that feeling that you're going to slip back into that like meat carnivore, well, fake carnivores and real not carnivores, so that kind of like fake carnivore stage, then you have something to fall back on. Tim, Vegan Fat Kid, he has a great saying of saying, always veganize your favorite dish. If you love nachos, make nachos vegan and make it your way. And in that way, when you got that urge or whatever it is, you go back. If it's cheesecake, it's some vegan cheesecake out there that's crazy. So all that stuff, you got to kind of go with that. If you find your weakness and veganize it, then now you really don't have any excuse. At that point, it's all on you, which it's all on you in the first place. It's a decision. So once you make the decision, you're good to go. And activity level also, like, we're eating those burgers, but we're also burning those burgers off. You can't eat the burger and then, like, work out next month and be like, yeah, I had that burger for, like, no, it don't work like that. So you still got to burn off what you're eating. So if you want to eat like that, pick up your activity level, too. And I'm not saying you got to go run a marathon, but you got to pick up the activity level at least some.
Mm-hmm. Yes, keep active. So speaking about food, there's the idea, and this is something that affects communities of color specifically, right? You're from Ferguson, right? Yeah. The last time I was in Ferguson, I ate at Hooters the whole time that I was there because that's the only place around where I was that had a salad, a like freezer burned salad. And so there are some places where even if there's just no access to food, right? There's no access to good food. Maybe you'll find like a banana or an apple at the liquor store, kind of thing. So what is your advice to vegans or people who are trying to go vegan or vegans who are kind of existing in spaces where food is not as, vegan options are not as readily available as a place like LA?
I feel bad on this one. I'll let her go first.
Is cooking from home. You can find vegetables, beans, rice, tofu, basically at any grocery store. And number one, it's cheaper, it's healthier, you know exactly what's going into your food. It's almost impossible to eat out and eat healthy because of all the added salt, all the added oil and sugar. For myself, I cook everything at home. I meal prep, which means is I buy an abundance of food. I buy veggies, sweet potatoes, tofu, and I cook it once a week. Make a ton of it, I put it in little tiny containers, put it in the fridge, grab it out for each meal, so I'm not tempted to grab something bad, stop at a fast food restaurant, whatever. And it really helps. Again, it saves money, and you know exactly what's going into your food.
And to go along with what she's saying, you also got to think about this too. If that's all you have in your house, you don't go to the snacks. You don't go to the bad stuff. The problem is, I just made a post the other day. I said, you can't blame the food industry for what's in your refrigerator. Like, you can't. Like, the food industry is there kids in here? Fucked up. So the food industry might be fucked up, but you have to remember that as messed up as they may be, they're not forcing you to put that in your house. That's true. So we have to remember that, even if she says she eats an extra meal of what she made, it's still clean. it's still good for her. So if she got a little hungrier than usual, that's the case to go. So we have to remember that. And also we have to remember that it's all a marketing thing. It's all about bottom dollar. If we don't have that grocery store in our neighborhood, and it's easy for us to say this sitting on the stage, but if we don't have that grocery store sitting in our neighborhood, you know, like when you go to the store and they say, hey, what's your zip code? They're doing demographic studies. They're trying to see where their money is coming from. And even if they don't ask you, they know where their money's coming from because your credit card or your debit card has your zip code attached to it. So what happens is when you see that new store being built, like not that far away from you, that wasn't just because they were like, hey, this is an empty spot. No, they did research and found that out. So if you're in that neighborhood that doesn't have that resource, you got to take a couple extra steps. We have to take control of it. We have to go outside of the neighborhood. We can't support the liquor stores and the McDonald's that's sitting in our neighborhood because that's one of the premises of the documentary is that we're changing the name of it too. It was going to be Hippocrates, but now it's called They're Trying to Kill Us. So, because pretty much that's what it is.
Pretty accurate.
And what they're doing is, what you have to see is that they're not putting McDonald's and liquor stores in Beverly Hills. You go to Beverly Hills, you will die looking for a McDonald's because it's not going to happen. Right. But that's what they're doing. They're picking on people that don't do the research and don't see that, hey, they're really just saying, well, they're not going to look and see what they're eating anyway or what they're drinking, so let's just go ahead and put it in there. So what you do is you have to go to that Whole Foods or that Ralph's or I'm trying to think what's out here, Albertsons? Or
yes,
I don't know what's out here. I'm sorry, I'm in Miami. Like so whatever's out here, you have to kind of leave that neighborhood because they're going to see where that money comes from. And it's all competition. So one store might move closer to you, but guess what? The other store is going to try to move even closer. And it's a cycle. It keeps going like that. So I know it seems like, yeah, it might not happen in a year, but if you're looking down the line, you got kids, you got nephews, nieces, think about the future and for yourself. And I'm telling you, it'll pay off because it's all about money. Whole Foods does not want to lose money. Right. Just look at the prices.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Whole paycheck, yes.
Right. And even with that, building on that, the liquor stores or whatever there are in the communities, you know, and you go there and if they have some rancid looking fruit or veggies, they're going to, you know, it's extortion because you're going to pay $5 for a banana or whatever. That's, you know, a gimmick too, if you ask me. So I think the communities really need to come together and start community gardens. Yeah. You can always work on your lawn, make it edible landscaping. It doesn't have to be pretty and you have a well manicured lawn. Plant something there that's edible, you know, and if everybody in the community comes together in those underprivileged areas, I think that would be a great benefit and get people healthy too.
Yeah, that's so important that taking it back, right? Our own agency, that we can grow our own food. We don't have to, you know, pay somebody else to grow it for us.
And when you get together, like, you don't have to grow everything. So Will grow tomatoes, she'll grow bananas, I'll grow lettuce. You know, like, that way now, you know, you don't have to be like, well, I got to be a jack of all trades. I'll learn this one. And then, you know, you don't have to love your neighbor, but hey, you can work together. Like, you know, that's what it's all about.
Trading. Role model do you want to be as a vegan of color for these individuals coming in now or looking to you guys for guidance?
Go ahead.
Wow. That's really what it's all about to me because I've learned something that a lot of people in my community either are unaware of or they're just choosing to ignore. However, the benefits I've reaped from it, I know that I can go back and have an impact. So, and it starts with the youth, typically. You know, if there's a movement, old people are stubborn. We know that. So if you start with the youth and get them energized and moving in the right direction and getting away from the fast foods and soda pop and all that other stuff, I really think that's what it's all about. And being that I grew up in those same areas, I can, you know, I think I can have a positive impact on them. And actually, I know you're going to be working with the young lady, too, that we met in Vegas, doing the mentoring some youth here in the LA area.
Great.
Doing some things.
Awesome.
I want kids to say, you know, hey, I look like her. I can be an athlete. I can be an entrepreneur. I can do whatever I want. And for me, I want to be an example. I want people to know me as a kind, compassionate person, and I want kids to see me as that.
Awesome.
Yeah. I just want people to see, like, I came from, maybe not all kids, but from where I come from, Ferguson, Missouri is like, you know, it's a different place. And I want people to see that. Like, I was 315 as a freshman in high school, so I know what it is to be obese. I mean, I was the, you know, quiet kind of kid. I was still an athlete. I want them to just see, like I slept in my car. I did all this. Like, no matter where you're at in this world, if you want it, you can go get it. I think that's my biggest thing. Like, I don't want people to think that, like, there's this special DNA running around where, you know, only this person can be an entrepreneur, only this person can be rich, only this person can be, you know, happy. I think happiness is our decision. Like, I don't care what's going on in your life. Like, happiness is our decision. I want them to understand that. Like, you can be in the middle of the hood and still be happy. And, you know what I'm saying? I think that's what I just want to motivate people to understand that.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you guys. I want to open it up for questions now. So if you do have a question, please make a line
Don't
here.
all rush.
Come on up. I know, not all at the same time. And we have about eight or so minutes, so I'll let you guys know when our time is almost up.
Hi.
Hello.
Nice enough to the mic? Okay.
You're good.
So I was actually a cross-country and track runner for 4 years, and I've been vegan my whole life. And one thing that I struggled with as an athlete in high school was whenever I would fail at something or I didn't have a good race or something, one thing that people always said to me was, oh, maybe if you got a cheeseburger in you, maybe if you ate animal protein. And like some people were joking, but some people were not. And like I don't know how much of that you guys faced. You're all clearly really successful athletes, but like when you did have a bad match or anything, how did you deal with people saying, well, maybe if you had some animal protein, that would have gone better? Like, how do you deal with that?
I guess meat eaters don't lose.
Right.
I mean, that's my thing. Like, I broke my wrist about 4 years ago. I got a titanium plate put in and everything. People are like, yeah, you know, that's because you're vegan. I'm like, well, I'm pretty sure the surgeon that did my surgery didn't just work on vegans, and he's pretty rich. So I'm pretty sure it's a lot of meat eaters going to him, too, that break their wrist. Like, that's just them. They don't understand it. And the person that's probably telling you you could have did better probably did worse than you. Exactly. So like at that point, it's like, shut up.
Right.
That should be your motivation. Haters are your motivators. You know, I feed off of that. You know what? Keep telling me I can. I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Yeah, it's lack of understanding. Just keep doing what you do and shine above the rest. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Remember, Mother Teresa had haters too. So just roll with it.
I would like you to speak on the proper kinds of tofu and preparation, dealing with pain management and age as you age.
She's like the tofu guru, I want to say. But how old are you now? Sorry.
I'm 55.
55.
And
You
you
look
asked
good. You still look
the
good.
preparation, how you say that one more time.
There's different types of tofu.
Yes.
Right.
And I want to know, and even though you're going to speak on it, from a male species, what is the best type of tofu? How do you prepare it?
You know, you want to find the least processed. So
Yeah.
tofu, anything organic, you don't want to buy any GMOs. But the big myth is that guys eating tofu, they're going to grow man boobs and
I
they're
think
going to
that's where
become.
he's going. You worry
I
about the
still got-
estrogen.
I still got
Don't-
my regular boobs.
That's so much a myth, man.
you know,
Don't worry about the estrogen in soy. You're not gonna wake up and wonder what you are. You know.
And I can attest that pretty much all the people that we know I wouldn't say we're all bodybuilders, but we're all in the fitness aspect. We all eat soy, like all of us. And like none of us are like growing man boobs, or like I had one lady say, I heard when you eat tofu, your penis shrinks. I was like, that doesn't happen. It doesn't happen.
It might come back towards your question when people say, oh, you're going to, tofu is so much estrogen. Think about the bodybuilding community and the fitness community. They eat so much chicken. We're eating a chicken breast. You're eating a female chicken. You're getting all that estrogen. You're drinking cow's milk from a female cow. You're getting so much estrogen in that. Tofu is just a bean. You know, there's nothing in it. It doesn't mimic the same estrogen as the female body produces.
Not at all.
So, not even close.
And with the chickens and the milk, the dairy, they're getting pumped full of female hormones because they're trying to raise those chickens and cows as fast as they can. So they're getting double concentrated doses of it as opposed to just a soybean that's grown with, water and sunlight.
Also,
but
too,
stay away from GMO, though. I will say that.
It's taking away tofu because all the tofu-like products are taken away from the meat industry. Okay, so they're going to badmouth it. There's going to be articles about it that it's bad for you, and don't listen to any of that garbage.
And look who's researching it. Look who's actually funding the research. You know what I'm saying? Like, you'll see somebody say, the National Association of Beef said that tofu's bad.
Right.
That makes total sense. That's like the Nazis saying, black people are wrong. Like, that's just, look who's funding the research, and that should help you out. But tofu's fine. And then you said pain management. I would honestly say for me, because I do a lot of running, I do a lot of everything. Like I said, the CrossFit. For me, doing it at 40, honestly, I'm shocked at myself. But I do a lot of stretching and pain management that way. I do a lot of yoga. That has been like a lifesaver for me. Like, and I can't even lie to you. Like, it's stuff that I do now. I know that yoga has kept me from getting an injury because I'm more flexible, you know, and flexibility a lot of times is what is our pain dominant thing. If we're not flexible, your hamstrings are tight, your hamstring is attached to your back is attached to your shoulders, your neck, and then it just all runs down, your knees, everything. So start stretching more, and I guarantee you, and eat less acidic. That's gonna help you out a lot too.
Yes.
Alkaline. Sorry, I'm gonna have to.
Sorry.
They're gonna be here, so
Yeah,
definitely
sorry,
hit them
sorry.
up. But
I
we're
got you.
and yes, see each other. We're actually out of time, but if you can synthesize your question and ask these questions quickly,
Rapid
we can.
fire, let's
we
go.
We
can,
got it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Wrong.
Yes.
So I'm admittedly not a vegan.
Okay.
I read recently that the smell of recently cut grass is actually a pain response. With that in mind, how do you guys see harming plants better than harming
Ooh,
animals?
I got this one.
Oh,
Ooh.
really good.
Okay,
ahead, John.
so this is the one I always say. So you got to think about it this way. If that study is true, you got to look at it this way. The seed of any fruit or anything cannot be carried unless it has been moved. The wind does not move it enough. If you look at a tree will not grow next to another tree in a certain circumference. So that's why it takes an animal to eat it and dispel that seed somewhere else. Also, you can cut the head off of a chicken or take the heart and try to make another chicken. It won't work. But you can eat the seed of that plant and plant it somewhere else and you get a whole other tree. So that's how I look at it like that. Like if it is painful, it's painful to a sense where it's going to grow again. I can't cut the head off that cow and be like, it's painful, but we'll get another cow.
Right.
Good
Thank
answer.
you.
Thank you.
Good answer.
Way to go.
Very good. Shit, man. Damn, that was good.
How you guys doing? I'm
up?
Aaron Legjor, one half of Vegan Voices of Color with my best friend Unique, and it's really awesome to see you guys here today. I know for me, I went vegan. My journey commitment has been 8 years now. I'm 22.
Cool.
Made the commitment at 13, so it's been amazing connecting with people, my community, peers, and friends, and helping them make the transition. But one of the most challenging parts for me, and I always tell people, never let this lifestyle make you at odds with your family. How has it been, how influential have you guys been amongst your family members witnessing your transition? And how was it for the first time telling grandma on Thanksgiving, like, I don't want the turkey neck inside the collard greens this year? How was that experience for you?
Well, when I came out of the closet to my family,
Yes. How was that?
no, they said okay. They were counting down days they were gonna bury me because I was gonna be nutrient deficient, die from protein deficiency and everything else. But they see that I'm still alive. 6 years vegan, 11 years since I had any kind of meat, and they're being a lot more receptive. Now I get the separate collard greens without the neck bones and the like.
Right.
So they do actually accept it now and kind of cater towards it. But in the beginning, there was a lot of attitude and ridicule, a little bit of everything. Hey, here he comes, get some lettuce or whatever. Like that's all I eat.
Right.
But, since they decided they're not going to bury me and get a refund on that plot they bought, I think we're good now, and they cater
And
to
you
me.
got to remember, anything that you do is going to get ridiculed. So you might as well get ridiculed for doing what the right thing is. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like my family owns the #1 barbecue joint in Little Rock, Arkansas. And they think I'm crazy, but they're all on medication, so it kind of evens out.
Thank you. So if you last two, we have 1 minute. So if you can ask your question in 10 seconds.
Sure. I just have a quick question. I work part-time as a personal trainer and group exercise instructor, and I get a lot of clients who ask what I eat. And I just wondered what your hard line is if you try to bring people to vegan straight away, or I have clients who say, oh, I still eat fish, and I just kind of let them come over, but I wanted to get some insight from you as to how quickly you try to pull clients.
We're both trainers. I don't push people on it. I let people come to me. I will educate them about the importance of it and the health reasons, all of that. It's definitely a tough subject because every trainer in America and the world prescribes egg whites in the morning, whey protein shake, grilled chicken and broccoli. So it's really hard, and sometimes people have to figure it out for themselves, but, just be an example for people, is the biggest thing.
Yeah, meet them at their level,
Yeah.
educate them, and show them to other clients that are plant-based and getting fit and getting better results. I just tell my clients, hey, I can't guarantee any results if you're following a standard American diet. This is what I know, this is what I promote, this is what I produce, and they look at the results, and then eventually they sway over and influence their families.
Or what you can also do is like tell them like, look, I can give you a vegan meal plan. If you want to change that, that's totally up to you. But results vary. That's on you.
Exactly.
But this is what I can show you.
We promote wellness. You know, I'm not going to give somebody a program.
Absolutely.
I don't make programs for meat eaters. I just won't, because that's not what I believe in. I'm not promoting sickness. I'm promoting wellness.
That's a good.
Hi, my,
You want us to pick you up?
you know, you guys are talking a lot about how the food industry, thank you, exploits disadvantaged communities, and that that the food industry isn't particularly making the choice to put this food in these refrigerators, but at the same time, these people don't have access to these foods. Between the billions of dollars in advertisements, lack of access, lack of transportation, and those things. My question is, for a lot of us, we don't live in these areas, and maybe some of us do, but we get to go home. And so my question is, one, how can we support, what's that?
Just one, because we got to cut it.
Okay.
But yeah, they'll be here.
Okay, well, do you plan on doing any advocacy in disadvantaged communities? If you do, what do you do? And if you don't, do you plan to? Thank you.
That's you. You were just talking about that.
Yeah, we kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. We were discussing that last night. That's definitely my mission with the whole thing, is to go more so in the disadvantaged areas and educate them, inspire them. Like I mentioned earlier about the community gardens, you know, if you get people involved and they have a sense of ownership in it, it typically produces better results from everything I've seen. So yes, definitely getting in inner cities and doing more work is what it's all about, and I plan on doing more of that. You'll probably see me in, you know, different communities. I don't know where you live, but you never know. I might be in your front yard planting something.
And the documentary is supposed to touch base on that too.
Absolutely.
We want to actually show people like actually what the government, I don't want to just pinpoint on the government, but what the industry is doing. All right, that's me, I'm sorry. What the industry is doing, but we also want to show like what they can do to help themselves. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of people will talk about, hey, the industry's messed up, but then they don't give anybody any help on how they can fix their situation.
Yeah.
So that's what we want to do. We really want to help them fix their situation, even if it's, you know, I know a lot of people don't like it, but and I'm not saying that's what we're doing, but even if we were teaming up with like Amazon to ship great products to their door, whatever it is, like we're willing to take that step to get it done. So
Thank you. So if you are staying in this room, Karen Yuen is next talking about global warming. She's a NASA scientist, so stay and check that out. Otherwise, international activism and challenges and success next door. But we want to give a big round of applause to our Vegan Games panel. Thank you so much.